Welcome to the What to Read Next podcast. In this podcast, your host, Lori Amin, will interview published authors to chat about their work, journey to getting published, and their book recommendations. If you share a passion for books and always looking for your next read, then join us. Hi, Annie. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
So happy to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am a small town contemporary romance author. I just finished up my Sweetwater Springs series with Hachette Forever, and I am about to release my new series, which is the Somerset Lake series. I'm also about to break into the young adult romance field next year, so that's very exciting. So I'm branching out a little bit. So I write adult right now, but I'm also going to branch into young adult romance.
I love this. So let's chat about young adult novels. That's like a brand new venture. So what inspired you to write a YA novel as opposed to doing some adult romance? Is it just the first kiss, the first love, the experience of identity, trying to figure out who they are, or is it something else?
Yeah, well, I like to mix it up a little bit. I kind of have interest in everything. I want to write everything. I want to write suspense and just everything I want to write. Yeah. But I have 3 kids at home, and I also work in the schools as for my day job. Mm-hmm. So I work in elementary school and the high school for my day job. And so I see a lot of young adults coming up, and I get to listen to their conversations, and I'm very interested in that aspect as well. So reaching another generation of romance readers is very interesting to me, and just keeping things interesting to me. Yeah, I like to get my hands in a little bit of everything.
I love this. Yeah, I'm someone who reads romance of all ages. I'm like, why romance is great. Even some middle grade, it's cute. All these different things. So I love, reading, seeing authors, breaking into adult romance authors trying to write some YA romance, and getting to hear their voice and experiencing those first things that are so prevalent in the YA reading as opposed to go wonder what is that in our identity? We know who we are,
Yeah, and I like the angst of it. They're very angsty and lots of drama, and they're just very different. So I do enjoy that aspect of that generation and that population.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So what came first, the reading or the writing?
Well, I've been interested in being an author since I was about 6 years old, but I was also very into books when I was very young. So from the time I can remember, I remember wanting my mom to read me books. And I remember waking up early and watching the lady on TV. There was a librarian that came on, and she would read books before the cartoons came on. Mm-hmm. So I have to say probably reading came first, because that's when I discovered books. Mm-hmm. But once I discovered there was actually somebody who wrote the books, that's when I just had to do it myself. So I started trying to write my own little books when I was about 6 years old. So they came hand in hand, but reading came first.
I love this. And so you have a great group of author friends around you. That's one thing that Estelle mentioned. And so I'm curious to hear, this writing can be a solitary experience. You have a team of editor and publicists and all these different things, but also just the writing process of so how important was to create a community, and how did you form that?
Yeah, it's very important to have other authors around you, because they keep you going, especially when you're first starting out, because there's a lot of, there are some people out there, I'm sure, who, write one book and they're instant bestsellers. Mm-hmm. But for most of us, there's a lot of rejection and a lot of, putting the query letters out, writing books, getting them rejected, and a lot of heartache and heartbreak, and you just have to keep going. So having that author community around you and people who are going through the same thing is very important for not giving up. When I first started out, I didn't have that. So I think I started writing my first book when I was 20. I decided I want to be an author. I'm going to do this. And I didn't have a community at the time. So I went for about 5 years, and I did wind up giving up. But when I came back to it I think I was 29 when I came back to it. I decided to get that community, and I searched out, were there any writing groups in my area? And the closest one to me was 2.5 hours away. So it met once a month. It was the Romance Writers. It was a group from the Romance Writers of America, like one of the little, like there's a group in every state. And this one met in Raleigh. And so that was about 2.5 hour drive for me. But I decided to start going once a month. And that's where I met my critique partner. And so we started getting together, and we were about the same, like we'd been writing for about the same amount of time. And we started critiquing each other's stuff, and just having somebody that's going through the same experience that can, keep you going and keep you inspired. And from there, you find people online, and I formed a nice group of these ladies. There's 5 of us, well, including me, there's 5 of us, and we message daily, and we just keep each other going. We keep each other inspired. We're able to talk about all the writing stuff. And I think that's so important, because you do spend a great deal of your time as an author alone at your desk and in your own little worlds. And it's so important to have somebody there to talk to.
Yeah, I think it makes an impact. I find it like, when we have these creative projects, it makes such an impact just to have a community of friends or people who are going through the same things, who can give you feedback and you can brainstorm, but you can follow them when you're feeling down. You can actually go back to like, can you help me out here? I think it makes an impact. I found it for me within the podcasting community. That's been really nice to know, like, I'm not doing this alone. Even though it's an independent project, it's so nice to know, like, I can brainstorm or figure out like problems or come up with like shared resources, or this or this works or so and so I can do. So community.
Yeah. And I think it's key in not giving up, because I think that's one thing, like, in the early stages, if you're starting out in anything, it's tempting to give up when you get frustrated, or you're faced with a lot of rejection or disappointment. And having somebody who's going through the same thing, no matter what you're doing, is just so key in keeping going and not giving up and pushing through.
Yes, let's not give up. Let's just keep pushing through. There is a solution. There is a gift. You're gonna find your voice and the gift that is gonna come with it. So
yes.
Let's chat about, like, you're writing on a schedule, like you're publishing multiple books a year. So what is the process of writing on a schedule, and keeping in mind that we've gone through the panorama, we're still going through it. So it's like, has it been any easier, any harder, or, and how do you keep yourself sane while publishing so frequently?
Oh yeah. It's the pandemic has, it's obviously affected everyone's life, but with my day job, we didn't really shut down. I work on a military base for the day job.
Yeah.
So we kept going. We wore a mask, obviously, and we took precautions, and we practiced social distancing, but we continued going to work every day. And so I still had that routine in my life, and I still had to, for my writing life, I get up at 4 o'clock every day, just so I can get it in before I leave for the day job. So I still kept that routine of waking up every morning, 4 o'clock, getting in my writing, and then heading to the day job, doing my thing there, and then coming back. And usually when I come back, I spend most of my time with my family. And then at nighttime, if there's other stuff to be done for the writing, like, promotion or editing or, whatever, I do that at nighttime before bed. So my routine has pretty much stayed the same. Staying sane is very hard. It's very hard to do. But I think, just making sure you take time for yourself and doing some things that you enjoy that are just for you every single day. I think that's key in staying sane, whether it's pandemic or not pandemic.
Yes, I think that's like a make an impact. But I love the fact you have a routine that you get your work done before in the morning. You're a morning person, assuming, and so you get that done, and then the most important thing, you get it done, and then you can move on for the rest of the day, as it unfolds.
Yeah. I used to. I had to force myself into being a morning person, because I used to try to push it back until the afternoon. But if you wait until the end of the day for anything that's important to you, you know, it's a lot of times it just won't happen because you never know what's going to happen between the beginning of the day and the end of the day. If something's going to come up, or you have to go to the grocery store, or one of your children needs to go to the doctor. So I find that if you need to get something done, it's best just to get it done first thing in the morning and prioritize it and make sure it gets done.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, I hear you completely. So let's chat about your new series. The Summer Cottage is the first book in the series. So what is the elevator pitch and what can readers expect from reading this series?
Well, the elevator pitch is this is kind of a spinoff from my Sweetwater Springs series, because the last book in my Sweetwater Springs series, book 7, had the best friend. She moved at the end. She needed a fresh start. So she's the heroine in the first book of my Somerset Lake series, and she needs a fresh start. So she moves to Somerset Lake. She's trying to get away from the cloud that's hanging over her from her ex's crimes. Her ex went to prison for some crimes, and she kind of had that cloud around her, and she wanted to get away from it. So she moves away, and she is the property manager of the Somerset Cottages. And the owner of the Somerset Cottages is an older lady, and her grandson is there for the summer. And he is suspicious of my heroine. His grandmother has been hurt by strangers in the past. In his mind, she's easily manipulated or fooled, and he wants to make sure that the heroine, Trisha, has his grandmother's best interest at heart. So he's trying to figure out what Trisha's backstory is, what she's hiding, because he can tell that she's hiding something. And my heroine is trying to hide her past because she doesn't really want to tell everybody in her new town that, you know, her ex was a con man that robbed a bunch of people out of a bunch of money, and she just doesn't want that stigma. So she's hiding something, and the hero's trying to uncover it, and that's kind of the plot. But while they're at it, they fall in love. And so I'm introducing the readers to my new setting of Somerset Lake, and it's also a mountain town set around a lake. It's a small town because that's just my thing. I really love small town environments, and I'm really excited about it. It's got a lot of quirks to it. I love the little quirks of a small town. And that's basically it. There's also dogs. There's lots of dogs in my Sweetwater Springs series, and there will also be lots of dogs in this series. I think dogs make life better.
So one of the things is that your books are set in North Carolina. So North Carolina is a setting, like it's small town, but you're set in, you know, North Carolina, which is like a really beautiful state. What do you love about writing, and how does the setting inspire the new series?
Well, I love writing North Carolina. That's my hometown. That's my state. I like that you can, you know, one side of the state is the beach and one side of the state is the mountains. And I like that you can pretty much get any weather that you want. You can have snow in North Carolina. You can have rain, hot weather. It's just a mix of everything. And I just really like North Carolina. I might be partial because I've lived here my whole life. But they say write what you know, and I definitely know North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, and I think setting's just really important as far as having a place that readers want to return to. So I think creating a setting that readers can enjoy and want to keep returning to, it's almost like a vacation for them that they feel familiar with. I think that's important.
Yep. And so do you keep a series Bible? Like, how do you keep track of all the characters, all the characteristics, and all the different things, you know, since you're writing a series, like a long series?
Yeah, that's something I wish I would have done for my Sweetwater Springs series, because that one was 7 full novels and I think 3 novellas. And I didn't keep a series Bible because I didn't realize it was going to go that long. And so I said for my next series that I definitely would keep a series Bible. And I'm already on my 3rd book, and I've already written 1 novella in it, and I haven't yet started my series Bible. So, so I'm relying heavily on my memory. But I do have to say that I kind of live in these worlds. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I I go to Somerset Lake, and I rely on my memory because they feel so real to me. So I don't have a series Bible, but it's an author goal of mine. But as far as keeping track, I just keep track because I feel like the characters are real to me. You know, if you spend so much time with them, I know the streets by name, and I kind of know where things are in my town. But that's how I'm doing it. I'm kind of winging it.
That's okay. Yeah, it's totally. I'm always curious because like it's such a like integral process of like when you write, and then you like realize like, oh my gosh, I have all this world building. And I think
Yeah.
the world building has spilled over from Sweetwater Springs to Summer Cottage. Like it's a bigger universe that you're creating. You're
Yeah.
creating a Marvel universe.
Yeah. I need to sit down and put it in a series Bible, though, in case I ever need to go back to, one of these towns. I'm sure my memory will fail me at some point.
Yeah. Well, it's a long-term project that you can actually, set it aside for the future to get done.
Yes.
So you mentioned you already have written a couple of books in the series. So what can we expect for the rest of the series?
Yeah, the Summer Cottage comes out this coming week. And then my Christmas book is called The Christmas Village, and that comes out in October. And that one's going to be my first book in trade size. So I'm super excited about that. And that one revolves around a neighborhood that has a Christmas decoration contest. And that was a lot of fun to write. And right now I'm doing book 3, and that's called True Love Bookshop. And that revolves around the bookstore in the town. So I don't have any plans beyond that. I'm contracted for 2 more beyond that, but I haven't planned them out yet.
Okay.
So we'll see who pops up.
That sounds exciting. I love the bookshop one. I'm all about books about books, it's so meta.
Yeah. Well, they have it starts in book 1. The girls kind of have a book club that they meet every Thursday night. And it's kind of their thing throughout the series that they kind of get together for girls' night, but it's a book club. So that becomes a strong theme in book 3, which is at the bookstore. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun book.
I love this. So book recommendations, do you have any for us?
I've been chasing a lot of deadlines lately. So most of the books that I've been reading I've actually been listening to them on Audible. And I guess that counts as reading in my head.
It is reading. Yes, it is reading.
Well, one that I cannot say enough about. I just finished my first Christina Lauren book, and I am now a huge fan of Christina Lauren. I had no idea. I was blown away. So I finished. It was called In a Holidays, and I loved it. Just loved it. So that's one that I'm gushing about these days. I am now a Christina Lauren fan, and I'm reading her next one, or not her next one, but another one that I was recommended. It's called The Honeymooners. Have you read that one?
I read. So I read pretty much all Christina Lauren's backlist. So I can send you a list of rankings of where I am and my own stuff. But I would say The Honeymooners is delightful. I really love the newest one, The Soulmate Equation, which is about genetics, a dating app. It's so cute. I think you'll enjoy that one too.
Yeah, I really want to read that one. I have had my eye on that one. So I'm finishing up The Honeymooners right now, and it's so cute. I love it. So I think I'm going to go through her entire backlist. It's really cute. And I really enjoyed Catherine Center in the last year. So I'm also a huge fan of hers. And since I am breaking into the young adult genre, I've been listening to some young adult, and I just finished up one that's called 11 Paper Hearts by Kelsey Hartwell. And it was super cute. Super cute. I loved it.
I love this. For young adult, I would say you should read some Morgan Matson. I like her writing a lot. She has a town set up in Connecticut, and so she has like Easter eggs in her books. So there's like some Easter, like basically like the town. It's a small town in Connecticut. It's called Sandwich, based on Greenwich, Connecticut, and it's like really delightful just to read, like to see the characters grow in different places when they come up. So if you're looking for that, and it's an Audible, I think they're on Audible Plus. You might be able to get some of the books from there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'll have to check it out. Because yeah,
Yeah,
I am devouring some young adult these days as well.
yeah, yeah. I really love young adult novels. Like, actually, I love them in audio. Tweet Cute is delightful if you haven't read it. It's about competing tweet. They're competing businesses like restaurant businesses, and the kids are running their social media, and they're having a Twitter fight. But then everyone's shipping them for them to get together, and it turns out they were in the same school, and they don't know they were talking to each other on a different app.
Oh,
And it's
that's
like
cute.
it's so cute. I listen to the audio, it is delightful. So yeah, some cute young adult novels. They're like fun. So
Yeah, cute.
awesome. So tell us where we can find you online.
Well, I mostly like Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Twitter too, but Instagram and Facebook are my places. So I am Annie Rains Books. So the @ symbol Annie Rains Books. That's where you find me on Instagram and Facebook. And then I also have my website, www.annierains.com. So
Awesome.
easy peasy.
Yay. Thank you, Annie, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. For book recommendations, author interview archives, and other fun book resources and tips, please visit WatchReNextBlog.com. The Watch Read Next podcast is part of the Frolic Network. To discover new shows to listen and love, please visit frolic.media/podcast. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.